Welcome to Vsb News Online for Wednesday, April the 22nd. I'm Charles Webb. Minister of Education Wayne Scott has opted to hold off on school consolidations and closures until the 2016-2017 academic year, when he would like to hear a plan to decrease the number of primary schools by one per zone, east, west, and central. Mr. Scott revealed, however, that 2 preschools will be amalgamated into 2 primary schools this September.
In September 2015, 2 preschools will be amalgamated into 2 primary schools. They are St. David's Preschool into St. David's Primary School and St. John's Preschool into Victor Scott Primary School. The preschool at Victor Scott will become Victor Scott Preschool, paying further homage to the work of the late Mr. Victor Scott, the first headmaster of Central School. It should be noted that the idea to merge St. David's schools was brought to the ministry by the preschool administrator and the primary school principal. They collaborated to develop an amalgamation plan to make a smoother preschool to primary school transition for students, their parents, and the community. I am happy to announce that the amalgamation of preschools will be the only changes for the upcoming academic year. Therefore, there will be no primary school consolidations or closures for the 2015-2016 academic school year. I have determined that further work, collaboration, and consultation are necessary before a final decision is made on public school reorganization and school closures. This decision has been assisted by anticipated cost savings through the early retirement of several staff and other means.
Businessman Alfonso Harris is making his second attempt to become the mayor of St. George's, and he says that if he wins on May the 7th, he has a new, different plan for the old town.
I want to continue the good work that the present administration is doing, but I would probably throw a little twist in there. I'd like to use the square more. I'd like to incorporate a daily market in St. George's to bring people down. And there's a couple ideas that have been tried before that I'd like to reinstate. Like, for example, maybe having the end-to-end walk that comes up, maybe have that end in St. George's instead of beginning in St. George's. Create a little bit more activity for that evening. They've had they initiated the go-kart racing. It started in St. George's. Now they do it everywhere else but St. George's. So,
Is it something about St. George's? Is it that you folks are not quite off the mark?
it's hard to get together. It's a whole different factions. You've got residents, you've got business, you've got the historical aspect of St. George's, and it's everybody's busy, so just a matter of getting together. My big thing's the market. I've been trying to do that for years, and hopefully that'll make a place where people can meet a little bit more. You know where to find somebody, a reason to come to St. George's.
Now, where do you stand on the energy that's provided to get either an hotel in St. George or cruise ship? Where are you in that equation?
Oh, with the hotel, I understand the government's working very hard on that, and it's imminent. I'd like to see the golf course opened right away because it's there. We can use it fairly simply. The cruise ships, the industry's changed. They've gotten bigger. You have to open the cut, which I'm for, but it's easier said than done. The golf course, I believe, you can get up and running a little easier.
Brilliant sunshine and smiling, cheering throngs greeted the open landau as the Governor, George Ferguson, and his wife completed the entourage of official guests arriving in St. George's Town Square today for the annual peppercorn ceremony. Following the traditional review of the troops and a welcome by the mayor of St. George, the rent of one peppercorn was paid. The occasion special for the Bermuda Regiment, as Mayor Garth Rothwell noted, to the thanks and appreciation of the regiment's commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Foster Brown.
were the conditions contained in the grant of the State House to the Corporation of St. George in the year 1816 to hold it in trust for the Freemasons of Lodge St. George of the Grand Lodge of Scotland in free and common soccage, I demand the payment of the annual rent of 1 peppercorn.
Your Excellency, my lords, ladies, and gentlemen, in order that Lodge St. George, number 200 in the Grand Lodge of Scotland, may continue to have and hold in free and common sockets the old State House, it is my honor and privilege as Master of the Lodge to demand of the Treasurer to pay forthwith the annual rent of 1 peppercorn.
The Corporation of St. George has passed a resolution instructing me, as Mayor, to give to the Bermuda Regiment today the freedom of the town of St. George in recognition of their service and of the services of the 2 regiments from which they were formed.
Your Worship, on behalf of former and serving members of the regiment, thank you for the honour which you, the aldermen, councillors and the town of St. George's have bestowed on us today in this our 50th anniversary in our current form.
British Airways services to and from Bermuda are getting back to normal after an unusual hiccup over the weekend. Vsb News understands that a co-pilot staying at the Fairmont Southampton resort hit his head on the bottom of the hotel pool and suffered a mild concussion, which prevented him from flying. Local staff contacted all passengers planning to leave on Sunday night, while a replacement co-pilot was located in the United Kingdom and rushed to the next plane out. This delayed that plane 4 hours, with the passengers being kept informed. However, once in Bermuda, the co-pilot had to take the regulation rest period before helping fly the first plane back to England, arriving Monday morning. The injured co-pilot will return as a passenger in due course. The Town Criers competition, taking place in St. George's, Hamilton and the Dockyard, has attracted criers from the United Kingdom, Newfoundland and Canada. And no matter who takes home the prize as the loudest, there can be no doubt that they are having fun. As Terry Ford, town crier of Otley in West Yorkshire, and female crier Brenda Willison of Newmarket in Suffolk vociferously demonstrate.
Been introduced to many things. The Pleasure St. George's, Hamilton's a lovely city. The ride between the towns on the bus or in a car is absolutely glorious. But I think most of all, Dark and Stormy has played a large part, and that's largely down to Ed Christopher, who's introduced all of us to your local national drink. It's glorious.
Now, would that interfere with your performance during the competition?
Not today. We took great care not to overindulge yesterday evening, so we should be fine today.
Well, we all try to deliver correctly because we're judged on diction, inflection, sustained volume, clarity, bearing and confidence. As a lady crier, I feel we have an advantage on the clarity because we have clearer voices, because sometimes you can be very loud but not understood. Saying that, in 1997 I was the loudest in Britain, so I can be loud as well as clear.
Now, you were here before.
I have been here before in 2009.
What were you doing there?
I was competing in St. George for the 400 celebration.
Now, as a female town crier, do you think people take you seriously?
When they hear me cry, they do. Would you like an example?
Yes, please.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
The latest work permit row between the government and the opposition is causing some confusion since neither side has directly addressed the crucial point. Brian Darby attempts to clarify the matter.
If you got the impression that Shadow Immigration Minister Walton Brown is claiming that work permit applications no longer require references, police certificates, medical clearance, character references and qualifications, you will be misinformed. As he points out, all these documents are still required, but must now be kept by the employer, who signs an affidavit that they are in his possession. Mr. Brown's point is that unscrupulous employers can abuse this new arrangement and thus deny Bermudians employment opportunities. Minister of Home Affairs Senator Michael Fahey points out in rebuttal that this new approach of putting the onus on the employer has been in the public domain since June 2014 and was agreed upon by the stakeholders. The application form requires a declaration that all of the documents have been submitted and are acceptable. Minister Fahey said he found the opposition's attack to be groundless and to show a lack of understanding of any of the work permit changes, especially since the forms have been online since March the 1st. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
Balco teams have been working to restore power in Devonshire this morning after a road accident saw a taxi collide with an electricity pole on South Road and overturn. Police media manager Dwayne Keynes has the report.
At 10:21, police responded to a report of a road traffic collision. Now that collision took place on South Road in Devonshire, just 200 meters west of Brighton Hill. It appears that a taxi driver was traveling on that said road when he lost control of his vehicle and the taxi flipped over. Fortunately, that 40-year-old taxi driver escaped his vehicle unharmed and no one was in the taxi. Now, in the area, the electricity was out in the area, and Balco at present is working to restore power to the area, and an investigation into the collision is now underway.
She was elected mayor of Lyme Regis in 2007 and again in 2011. And since that time, Sally Howman has been a staunch supporter of the twinning of the two towns, Lyme Regis in England and St. George's in Bermuda. At the conclusion of today's peppercorn ceremony in the town square, the mayor, who is in her last term, admitted her fondness for Bermuda and our two town criers.
Well, this is my 5th visit as mayor, so that's the 5th peppercorn ceremony that I've done, and it's still fantastic to watch it. I love it. I am sure that the next mayor of Lyme Regis will support the Bermuda, the St. George's twinning with Lyme Regis. I'm sure of that, but I can't tell you how I know, because I think I know who it will be.
Well, now, you do have a town criers competition. Do you have any favorites in that?
Well, the two favourites that I might have, I understand, are not allowed to take part. So there's Ed and David. So I don't really know any of the others.
So you're on our side there?
I think I might be, yes.
And now we turn to somebody we are fond of, Earl Baisden, with the latest from the sports desk.
In just over a month's time, the world's football eyes will be on the presidential elections for the post of FIFA president. Bermuda Football Association President Larry Musselden is the chairman of the committee that will oversee the elections. He breaks down his and his committee's role.
I've been working on the election as the chairman of the electoral committee for quite a few months right now. So I'm required to deal with people in Zurich, at FIFA, and the candidates on a regular basis. And so everything is going fine. And I think that everybody's happy with the preparations thus far. We've been at our last meeting, we worked on exactly what the format's going to be at the election itself, and I still think that everybody is happy. But what is available is there's the FIFA statutes that deal with the elections, there's the FIFA electoral regulations that deal with the elections, there's a number of booklets that are published on FIFA.com that we have to be fully conversant with so that we actually make our decisions. So all of it is public information about how it's going to be done, just that we're on the committee to make sure that it will be done that way.
Now, a lot of people talk about little old Bermuda, but we have someone who is going to oversee the general election of a new FIFA president, or the next FIFA president, whether it be Mr. Blatter or whomever. But Does this speak well of the conditions in which Bermuda put people in places to be recognized and recommended to these positions?
Well, I think it speaks very well of Bermuda and our reputation at the international football tables, the administrative tables. We're on committees in the Caribbean Football Union, we're on committees in CONCACAF, and we're also on some committees in FIFA. So I'm very pleased that all those international bodies, their executive committees, have found it fit to be able to accept Bermuda's recommendations to put people on those committees. So therefore, we're at the table. It's better to be at the table where the decisions are being made so that we have input from countries our size, but also that are reflective of countries of a much larger size. So we are there and we're having an impact and we're making an impact. So I think it's a credit to the Bermuda Football Association clubs. It's also a credit to our executives that come on to the BFA executive, and then for us to represent overseas. So I'm pleased with that. I think the members are pleased and we're making a contribution.
It was a week ago that VSB Sports reported the dates and times for the FIFA World Cup second round match for Bermuda against Guatemala. Today we can confirm the schedule for the Pepsi ICC Americas Division I Championships, scheduled for Indianapolis from May 3rd through to the 10th. Bermuda, Canada, and Suriname will join host USA in what is expected to be a tightly fought series. The matches will be played at the World Sports Park in Indianapolis. The top two ranked teams in the tournament will be promoted to the 2015 ICC World 2020 qualifiers to be held in Ireland and Scotland from July 9th through to August the 11th. The fixtures on May 3rd will see Bermuda take on USA. On May 4th, Bermuda will take on Canada. May 5th, Bermuda will face Suriname. On the 7th, Bermuda will take on USA. And then on the 8th, Bermuda will take on Canada. Bermuda will close out the tournament on May 9th, playing Suriname. Tahira Butterfield represented the University of Albany at the 31st Spring Classic, which is the University of Albany's home track meet opener. Butterfield competed in the women's 100-meter dash preliminaries and qualified for the finals, finishing third in a collegiate best time of 12:33. During the women's 100-meter finals, Butterfield ran even faster, clocking a time of 12 seconds flat, finishing in third. Alex Cooper and his number 28th ranked Swanee men's tennis teammates went down 9-0 to second-ranked Emory at the Burton Gurry Tennis Center. Cooper in his singles match went down in straight sets, 6-love, 6-4 in the number 5 spot. He then teamed up with Eric Roddy in the number 1 double spot, and their pair went down 8-3. On the eve of the Legends of Squash tournament set to begin this evening at the Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club, we can report that Micah Franklin competed in the $10,000 men's Irish Squash Open at the Galloway Lawn Tennis Club in Ireland. Playing in the first qualifying round, Franklin defeated Irishman Keith Moran in straight games, 11-4, 11-6, 11-8 in 36 minutes of action. Franklin, however, fell in the qualifying round's finals, going down to Jan van Herwen from Belgium in 3 straight games, 11-7, 11-3, 11-3 in 39 minutes of action. The Bermuda women's rugby team won the inaugural Old Toe Rugby International Sevens held in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Bermuda women's team conceded only 2 tries in their 4 games, defeating Kennesaw State University 22-7, University of Carolina Charlotte 34-0, Allen University women 42-0, before again defeating the Kennesaw State University teams in the final 22-5. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Thursday, April the 23rd, there will be a mix of sun and cloud. Winds will be westerly, light to moderate, increasing to moderate by the evening. We're expecting a high near 75 and a low near 67. This weather forecast is a courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching Vsb News Online for Wednesday, April the 22nd. I'm Charles Webb.